Afternoon, legends. Back after a little getaway pre-Christmas there, and we have 2 games to go through. And just a kind of a mini preview. I will pop out a video tomorrow, but some of you might not get the opportunity to get to that video before the next round starts. So Thursday night game tonight, and then the next round starts on Friday. So we have to be right onto that heading into round 2. So I'll just mention a few guys that you might want to have a look at, especially coming out of this game here, Thunder versus Strikers, where the Strikers do have the double in round 2 along with the Perth Scorchers. The only real game to be worried about for potential rain is actually the first Scorchers game. That is the second game of round 2. So in that scenario, I just think you need to wait to make your decisions as much as you can until closer to that second game, or if we get a little bit more clarification on the weather for that one. It says there's a medium chance of showers there. So that one is against Hobart in the second game. So just be aware of that. But the weather looks pretty good for the rest of them. And we do want to target some Strikers and some Scorchers. What you don't want to do with the Scorchers is target too many of them. Given that they are done with doubles after round 2, you will maximum, in my opinion, want 3 to utilize the amount of doubles that you can get, especially from really high quality players. So the good thing is over the next few weeks, you've got the Scorchers into, well, definitely the Sixers being a really, really strong team, and the Brisbane Heat having doubles in round 3 as well. So you're wanting to potentially move a few of your 3 Scorchers onto 3 of your Heat players, your Sixers players and the like. You could use a boost in that week and take a 4th in round 2, a 4th Scorcher, and then trade all of your Scorchers in that scenario. If you happen to continue holding on to a cheaper per Scorcher player, that would be okay as well. Under 100k, you can use as a cash cow, but there's not going to be many of those from the Scorchers. But looking into this Thunder Strikers game, it was such a high quality game, and I'm a Thunder fan myself, so to watch that second to last over, it was great viewing for myself, but really, really strange the way that they played that one, given Lloyd Pope to be bowling the second to last when it should have been Jamie Overton there. But some tremendous striking from Daniel Sams pushed him to a 75, and there was 4 or 5 even really good scores from the Thunder, with Tanvir getting 66. Lockie Ferguson bowling 3, getting 3 for 24 off his 4 was spectacular. And he was the guy that we flagged coming into this. It was just the schedule wasn't as pretty, and coming off that bit of a niggle heading into this round 1 clash, but he was great. And then Chris Green and Constas, wow. Green, one of his better games that he's had. I think he continues to get stronger and more consistent every year. And then Constas, just wow. That's all we can say for him. That was incredible. Sammy, boy, hopefully he continues to play for the Thunder. And if he is playing next round and they haven't locked him away in the test setup, then make sure you do get him for the cash grab and the points there. On the Adelaide side, they're the most important side that we want to look at, to be fair, because when you're looking at Thunder from there on down, it's really only waiting for Warner to get a bit cheaper. Potentially Shafane Rutherford, who didn't look very good the other night. Just his role's a bit awkward too at the price, batting at 6 only and not bowling. And then Ollie Davies getting the 28. Him and Billings batted pretty well. But moving to the Strikers side, what about the outing from James Baisley? Did bowl the one over and got a bit of tap, but picked up the 67 points there with the bat. 31 off 15 was incredible. So a great effort from Baisley there. And of course, he was one of the guys that I did own much more expensive last year, and he didn't perform. But in this case, it came out and did really well. But batting 8, bowling 1 over, it's probably not the role you want. But at that price, it obviously worked out really well in this week's setup. So good congrats to owners of him. Their best batter in this game was clearly Jake Weatherald. He looked awesome, and he did some great work out there. So you're looking at that 40 runs, basically, to a ball. So getting that 25 strike rate bonus as well was awesome for Weatherald. So he's someone that on the bat only side that you could potentially target. I think just looked at, in the most form out of all those guys. We may see a Darcy Short, but we obviously have Ollie Pope to be coming into the side as well. Fabian Allen is set to miss obviously with his hamstring injury that he picked up the other night. So be aware of that lineup may change just a little bit with Ollie Pope coming into this side. Likely Nielsen leaving it, and then potential for a Darcy Short to come in and bolster that batting lineup as well. We'll see how that one plays out. But Henry Thornton with a 52 with 2 wickets and 10 dot balls. Was really, really happy with that as an owner of him on my bench. He's going to come in and start for me on the double in round 2. So he's a nice guy that's going to be around that 100k or a tick over that you can target. But Jamie Overton before we go any further, he was spectacular, having to save the innings a little bit. And they end up doing really well. They were scoring quickly up top, obviously, and lost a bunch of wickets. And at one stage, he was 4 off 9 to score 45 off the 35 in the end was really, really helpful for the squad. And picking up, 5 points in the economy rate bonus, but 2 wickets there, bowling the really important overs. And unfortunately, didn't get to finish out his 4th with there not being many runs left after Sam's going nuts. So, Overton's a must-have coming into round 2, in my opinion, in terms of scoring. And then second to that would obviously be Matty Short. Picked up 7 runs, a really nice ball from Lockie. Can he go back-to-back low scores, and can you fade him for the second time, but on the double? That's the hard one, especially when they play at Adelaide Oval against the Stars for the first game of round 2. Would be very tough to not own him at this point, but he'll go down about 15k. He picked up a wicket, he picked up a catch, and 4 dot balls, obviously, in his 2 overs. And with Fabian Allen out, I think there's at least 2 overs in there for him, potentially 3, depending on who they end up bringing into this side. If they bring in another bat in Darcy Short, then I think that Matt Short is a very high chance of that 3 overs then from that point. And can you fade him a second time? I personally might not. I've got 135k in the bank set for him to be able to come in, and especially with guys like Webster not performing, not getting the role, he's a guy that I could use to move on to Matty Short. And then a couple of the bowlers, obviously Lloyd Pope got pumped a bit in that last over that he bowled, got the wicket. Same with Fabian. And then Cameron Boyce got the 1 wicket as well. But for him, no economy rate bonus for those guys as well. So that made it a little bit tough for them to do well. But we know Boyce can have good games. And then same with Chris Lynn. You could bring him in for the double, but picking up a 2 and being at his higher price, we know that he can come out and do really well. But it was a pretty poor shot that to get out to Chris Green on that one. And that cooked him a little bit. And obviously his score for round 1, hopefully if you did buy him, that you've got him there for round 2 for that really awesome double. Alrighty, let's go to the Stars and the Heat. So a few better scores, thank goodness, from my players. I had 4 Stars players, no Heat players myself. But having looped Curran in for his 100 in game 1 to then pick up 4 only, given he bowled, 3 and a bit overs and got an opportunity with the bat, that was a terrible performance from him. And it looked a little bit more similar to what the trial game looked like compared to what it did look like in round 1. But on the Stars front, they do have some relevance, obviously still with a double in round 3. But Harper came up with the goods this week, this round anyway, with a 61, with 40 odd with the bat, and then Joe Clark with a high 30s innings as well, with 5 economy rate bonus, and then hurt his hammy, so didn't come out to field there. So those guys bolstered the batting a little bit, but still super frustrating. Even though Webster came out with the economy, the strike rate bonus, that he was only, he was still batting at 6 and got left not out there when he could have had a bigger score. But it was one of those games where I think if you got in early there, you saw guys like Stoinis, got a few runs there obviously, and then Webster was able to still do well at 6, but get left stranded and not out there. Hamish McKenzie picked up a wicket, which was nice, and 7 runs. But just still getting pumped, unfortunately. So you think he bowls some good balls, and then he bowls one a little bit full and just goes for 6. So at the moment, these fuller balls that he's bowling, they're not getting hit shit. They're getting hit for 6, unfortunately, at the moment. So that's the tough one. And it's going to be hard, I think, for guys like Rogers to keep their spot in this side with Ben Duckett returning. Harper may have saved his spot in this side, whether it's at keeper or not. I think he's very likely to have saved his spot. And on current form, Rogers might be the one to go, even though he got, a 10 or 15 in that first game. And then you've got Milne for 1 more week before he moves on as well. And Osama Mir returns. And that's probably the main worry with McKenzie, but we'll see how you go with round 2. You might not have to field him, or he could be in there and likely the guy that pushes out the side. But I think Stoyan's going to be the one you want to hold, definitely, and Curran. For their for the round 3 double, you might want to be looking to target a Maxwell by that point, but Webster, I think, needs to go, even though he did bowl a couple of overs, but still didn't bowl enough. So he was 2 overs for 13, but didn't get a wicket and didn't bowl enough. Needed that 1 more over for the economy rate bonus. That's probably all you want to hold going into that next round. Cartwright will be under 100k, so could be that not the worst hold for sure. And then the Brisbane Heat, I was actually pretty high on Pearson all year. Or preseason, sorry, and then was worried that he might bat sort of 4 or 5 and doesn't have a double till round 3, and there's a bit of a worry as to where he might bat. but they did lose Munro and Allsop, so that changed things around a little bit, but that pushed Jack Wood up to open. And in terms of that, I think Pearson, after doing really well, picking up 97 points there, he should be locked into open with Munro. And even though Wood did really well, he could slot himself more into the middle order rather than that opening slot. Pearson did a great job anchoring the innings and getting him through to a win, but a nice start from Wood as well. Xavier Bartlett, spectacular with the ball again. He's going to be one of the premier guys that you want as the bowler in that bowling slot in round 3. I think Swepson bowled really, really well. So he was great there with a 52. Be one of his better performances. You get the odd wicket and a nice economy rate bonus. And Max Bryant batted really well. So anyone who did get an opportunity to bat got a pretty solid hit out, and Renshaw picked up the 18 points. So okay without being terrible, obviously, for him. And Paul Walter, big tally Paul, 13 for him in this one, so he'll lose a little bit of cash, and hopefully the same again happens in round 2. But if you do own him, good chance you can score well in round 2, and then you have him for the round 3 double, which would be really, really cool. And then Kuhnemann, just a solid hit out for him, and Whitney and Prestwich out there, getting their opportunities. Whitney's first one, and Prestwich maybe third game, I think, for Will. But they all did a solid job and a great win from them. We move forward to tonight's game, Renegades and Hurricanes. Probably should have all of your team locked in by now, but if you don't, it probably is a Jake Doran type who's in there in the loop slot for me, with Cooper Connolly to get some points there. I'm sitting in a really solid position, happy with where I'm at. I'm fortunate about the Tom Curran one, especially with a few guys out there captaining Will Sutherland and these types, and potentially Jake Fraser McGurk. What's funny is if you captained Stoinis in the end after that 30 odd, you got a 30 point better score than Curran, which was pretty tough for us VCers. But that was kind of the annoying one from last night. Happy enough with the rest of the guys without being too excited about Mackenzie getting a bit of tap. That's where we're coming out. I think it's not too much left. Just make sure you are ready for round 2 and selecting those strikers, maybe getting a week ahead on a sixer that you missed, whether it's a Jack Edwards or Sean Abbott if he's able to play, whether it's getting on one of those Heat guys, if you need to, Pearson as a replacement keeper or something like that, if you want to trade out a Seaford. But very much hoping there's going to be some good games from Zampa, from Fergus O'Neill especially. I'd like him to have a night out. If Seaford can do well again, along with Josh Brown in my side, I'll be very, very happy with that. But once tomorrow comes around, we will review how round 1 went across the podcast, the Podmasters League, how I'm sitting and what I'm looking at as well. You get all of it with my trades, potential and everything like that heading into that first game. We know a lot of things change over the weekend, or over the game days anyway. So thanks so much for being here for that one, guys. I hope that helps. Hope you set up well enough rank-wise for round 1. And if you're not, then you've got 3 plus the extra boost there to launch into round 2 and get you on the right track and really make a good comeback and beat the guys that beat you in round 1.